Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an Unsung Heroes audio interview. For the first time, this one will be going directly up on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts for everyone to check out. I did a few of these from April, May, and June before I had my podcast set up, but now that I have the Stire sound, new episode releasing Wednesday, of course, I now have a place to put these interviews and share them with the world. Joining me today is a man who is a Pacific Northwest local. He showed up at the Washougal National ready to race aboard his KTM and scored his first point in 3 years. He runs the number 377, backed by companies such as Beaverton Motorcycles and Fusion Graphics. Went 21-27 on the day, and as I mentioned, scored his first point in a while. Joining me from Oregon, Austin Black. What's up, man? Congrats on getting back to the points, and I'm sure you're stoked to be competing on the highest level with the pros still.
Yeah, man, it's been good to be back. Quite a while off of racing, so stoked to be able to grab myself another point and yeah, move on with it and hopefully get some more in the next couple rounds.
My first question for you today is about the weekend. First of all, with the Pro National on Saturday, take me through your day a little bit from qualifying to your motos. 250 class was second because of the 450 motos on NBC. So you guys got the track a little bit more beat up than what you usually have. Take me through your day a little bit, how everything unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, usually most tracks that really wouldn't work in your favor. I feel like Washougal worked in our favor being the last practice. So yeah, I mean, it worked good. The second practice was even quicker than the first one, which was surprising. I felt good. Everything was gelling. Track was good. The new layout was fun. And yeah, dude, that first moto came up and I got a pretty decent start and just started flowing. I was running, I think, 15th or 16th for half the moto and ended up tipping over. But I got up and finished 21st, which I was super stoked about. Second moto, quite a tough one for. Got a horrible start. Went down a couple times first lap, and just kind of did what I could from there. But nothing really special the second moto. But overall, I'm just happy with how the day went and how I rode and how I felt. I wasn't nervous, so I was just more excited to race on Saturday. So yeah.
You had a busy weekend. You look through the Washougal schedule. Of course, you were there for press day as one of the local riders that was able to be selected for that. And then on Thursday night, you had the PIR Thursday night motocross race, which I know a lot of big privateer names hit up. Harry Kulis won that event. Brandon Ray and Jeremy Hand rounding out the podium. You were eighth place, I believe I saw on the results, the highest 250 guy. Big names all over the place. So, what was the race like on Thursday night to be able to get warmed up and race some of those 450 class guys who are battling for points week in and week out?
Yeah, it was good. I'd say it was a little disappointing in my eyes. I was running up there quite a bit more until I went down. But yeah, I got to stop going down, but that's on me. And yeah, it was really fun battling with those dudes. It was clean racing. Track was great. It was a great event, and it was definitely a good warm up for Saturday, I believe. And it's good for us privateers to go there and make some money. We don't have that many opportunities to do that. So yeah, I had a great time.
A few years ago, when you were starting to come up through the pro ranks, the AEO Power Sports KTM team was forming. You were a member of that roster and ran some races for them, scored some points, but injuries started flaring up the last few years, and you've been largely absent from racing and stuff. You're working full time, it seems. Can you take me through a little bit of the last few years and like trying to overcome the injuries? But this year you were able to go to a couple nationals. You raced Hangtown, you've raced Washougal. So talk about the last few years and rising from the injuries, the struggles after being on a top level team, and then clawing back, working, and then being like, hey man, I can still race and go out there and compete.
Yeah, so when I was on AEO, I got three bad concussions within a week of each other. like pretty decent ones. So I went through all the, aftermath of the concussion stuff and, different personality kind of thing. And I physically couldn't even get on my dirt bike and ride a lap anymore. So I hung it up and I had no desire to come back ever. But I started pouring concrete, with my best friends, J&H Custom Construction, and did that for, year and a half, and saw what life was like without dirt bikes, and it made me miss it, man. So yeah, just kind of just been slowly but surely clawing my way back. It hasn't been easy. I've been flipping, the bill for mostly myself the last year for racing. I have some support right now, but trying to do that on your own, it's just, it's almost nearly impossible unless you're making, a shit ton of money. And yeah, man. So I've been just, trying to get my face back into the scene and get behind the gate. And I think it's finally coming along where I'm slowly but surely, finding my groove back. Yeah, I just got to keep pushing, man. It's not easy. I want to get back to where I was, which I feel like I am slowly but surely. But yeah, it's been tough, but it's been a good journey. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've learned a bunch. I've had a lot of life changes, which has been for the best. And yeah, I'm ready to get back to it. And, I would love to get back on a team again and show what I'm made of.
There are so many guys in the 250 class this year, and I know the season's kind of winding down and some injuries are taking place, but you look at the depth between all of the factory guys, plus teams like AEO, Club, Phoenix Honda, PRMX. There are so many guys that show up to the race every weekend. When I was at High Point, I was looking at the A group in qualifying, and I was like, man, there's 40 guys in A group that could legitimately score a point or contend for him. It's been pretty deep this year in the 250 class, and for you to come out and score a point, I know Washougal is your home track, but to be contending in the mix with those guys after largely being absent from racing the last couple of years, that has to give you a lot of confidence.
Yes, it gives me a bunch of confidence. I know I belong there, and it's in the Northwest, man. We don't have much riding, so I'm working during the week, and maybe riding once or twice if I'm lucky throughout the week. And we're not doing 30s around here. There's split practices, so I'm getting about 10-15 minutes a session. So each time I get out there at a pro national, it's just I'm out there to progress and get the reps in. So it'd be awesome to maybe get out there some more and prove myself, because I know I belong up there. It's just a matter of time and getting the reps in. And yeah, dude, I'm racing against fast dudes, so I don't take it for granted. Um, those guys are gnarly, so it's cool to be in the mix.
This weekend was the military appreciation round for motocross. And I know Fusion Graphics is one of your supporters. They had some new kits coming out, the PRMX Kawasaki guys, Ryder Fisher, another Pacific Northwest privateer. You got to debut one of the military appreciation kits they made, the Glory Series. What was it like not only being able to represent and pay homage to the military who have made so many sacrifices for us in this country, but also to be able to debut a graphic kit for a company like Fusion and display it to the world for the first time?
Oh man, I mean, first of all, a big thank you to all the military people that have fought for our country. And yeah, I've been with Fusion since I've been like 8 years old, so still working with the same guys from Fusion. So it's cool to run what they got, and they got great ideas. I wouldn't rather be with any other graphic company, I'll be honest with you.
You talk a little bit about potentially getting more gate drops in your future and stuff. Do you have any plans to race some of the last nationals of 2025, or will you be training more during the off season trying to really hit things up for next year?
Well, I just put my bike on the McGinley Clinic for the last 3 rounds at Washougal. So I will be flying to the last 3 rounds to race those. So yeah, they're gonna new tracks to me, new places, never been over there. So I'm excited to for the challenge and to get those races going.
You talked about the McGinley Clinic. I know that this is their first year. Obviously, they kind of took over for the TPJ guys, and they've had a lot of fast guys through there this year. Jerry Robin, Tristan Lane in Supercross. Then going into motocross, John Short's been scoring points. To have an organization where they might not be giving you parts and a bunch of stuff, but to be able to have an awning to pit under and a little bit of resources, that's got to be a huge help for a guy like you who's starting to slowly get back into this and try to creep up back on that level you were at a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, to be honest, if they were around, I wouldn't be going to these last 3 rounds. So, kudos to them for doing that for the privateers. And yeah, I'm stoked to be under their tent and represent them the best I can.
For the last 3 rounds, you mentioned brand new tracks to you, going to Ironman, Unadilla, Budds Creek, all on the East Coast. You talked about wanting to grow and just get back to the level you're at, but for tracks you have never seen before, are your expectations a little bit lower just because you have no idea what to expect from the dirt level to the actual layout of the track and trying to hit the jumps? What is your expectations and thoughts going into these last 3 rounds after performing well at a track like the back of your hand almost?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. I think for me, my expectations are to go out there with a clear head and ride my dirt bike like I know how to ride. And when I do that, things will come around, I believe. But yeah, it's going to be a whole new learning process with the new tracks. And I think I can do it. I know I can do it. Actually, I just, got to go there and do it. But yeah, I mean, no expectations for, placement or anything. Just go out there and see what happens and have some fun. And when I'm having fun, I think good things come around.
One last question for you. You running the 377 on your bike, and every time I see that number, I personally think of Christophe Pourcel and how good he was back in the day running the Nationals. Did you pick 377 on your own, or were you a Pourcel fan and was like, man, this guy is sick and I want to run his number?
I think in my amateur days, I picked out a few numbers and then they gave me like a list of what was still left. And I saw 377. It's kind of the one that kind of stuck with me. And yeah, of course, I thought of Christophe Pourcel. I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, uh, I'd say I picked it.
All right, man. Austin Black on a special Unsung Heroes audio interview. Thank you for the time, man. Best of luck the rest of the season. You guys can find him at Ironman Unadilla Budds Creek under the McGinley Clinic Privateer Support Program. Thank you for the time, Austin. Congratulations once again on scoring your first point of the year, and best of luck in the final 3 rounds.
Heck yeah. Thank you, man.